Hey y'all, good morning. How's everybody doing? I hope that you guys are enjoying your holiday seasons. So as many of you might know, I have been covering the Kenneka Jenkins case since 2017, and it will appear that some new information has come about, and I want to talk about it. So on November 2nd, 20, uh, on November 2nd of this year, Teresa Martin shared a post on Facebook. It would appear that she is not happy. It would appear that something is seriously going on with her. She sounded really disoriented. Uh, and December 26th, I'm sorry. She appeared to sound disoriented. She went on to write a post stating to whom it may concern. If the death of my child, Kenneka Jenkins, was all about money, as someone stated, I would have never allowed the world to know how my daughter died in your city. Right. But so she was saying all this, and she was saying she still wanted justice for her child. She was stating that she was made to sign an NDA because she received a $6 million settlement for the death of Kenneka Jenkins um, by way of the Rosemont Hotel. My thing is, we have always wondered what really happened to Kenneka Jenkins, right? Not only Kenneka Jenkins, but Zach TV, the controversy surrounding it. It has become an urban legend. But it would appear to me that Teresa Martin, all of these years later, um, I think she's wanting to clear her conscience, in my opinion. And not only that, I think that Kenneka Jenkins is, she's getting justice from the grave, if you will, right? So anyway, on the Facebook post, Teresa said what she said. Um, then she came on and did a live video, and she sounded really erratic. She didn't sound like she was all together there. She was rambling really when she was talking. She sounded angry. To me, she sounded like she wasn't in a good place mentally, right? So all these years we have been wondering what really happened to Kenneka Jenkins. People theorized. I don't know if you guys seen it, but there is a YouTuber by the name of Layla Lynn, and a couple of years ago, after uh, Teresa Martin received that $6 million, well, she actually received 3 million, and her daughter received 3 million, and I think it was another family member or something that got some money. I don't know, but anyway, uh, there was a video posted on that Layla Lynn posted on her channel, and it was very graphic. It was what happened, to Kenneka's, body, her remains. They were shown. They were in a trash bag. Some people seen that trash bag video, but they kind of overlooked it. But it was clearly, you could clearly see that it was, a body inside the bag. There was a hotel worker pushing the cart with the body on the bag. There was a security guard in front of the bag. It was really graphic. You could really tell, what was going on. But this video was never posted until after. Like I said, she received the settlement. I don't know where Layla Lynn got that video from. I can't find that video now, or else I would have reposted it. But anyway, she received the settlement, for the wrongful death. I call it blood money. And because I call it blood money, I really believe that Teresa Martin knows what happened to her child. I think she knew all along what happened to her child, simply because um, if you guys can remember, there was a guy named Jedidiah Brown. You guys have to bear with me. I really don't like to talk about this anymore, but in the light of this situation, I think it really needs to be talked about. There was a guy by the name of Jedidiah Brown. Jedidiah Brown is a community activist, a social justice warrior, if you will. And he was leading. He immediately gathered a group of people, and they immediately went to the Rosemont Hotel. They began to protest outside of the hotel, wanting to know what happened to Kenneka Jenkins, cause her death went viral. We know that, um, uh, the authorities say that, she was intoxicated. Um, she was intoxicated, and she was walking alone in a hotel, all alone in a hotel, even though the hotel is covered with surveillance. She found her way all the way at the bottom of the hotel and walked herself inside of a freezer, closed the door, and then froze to death in a broken freezer. The first question that I had was, if the freezer was broken, how in the world did she freeze to death in a freezer that was supposedly broken, right? Never got that answer. Her mama was saying at first that there was a camera above the hotel freezer. That was shown that where there was clearly a camera at one point in time above the hotel freezer. We know many videos was out about that. So Jedidiah Brown's people went out there immediately. Shortly after that, this guy by the name of Andrew Holmes, um, he went and talked to the hotel owners. He came out. He said he seen the video. He said that there was no foul play. The people didn't want to hear that. They were still protesting. They were still protesting because they still didn't get any answers as to what really happened to Kenneka Jenkins. The people weren't satisfied. Not only Jedidiah Brown, that activist was out there. You had several, agent provocateurs. They were all over this story, right? So the Kenneka's autopsy showed that she had alcohol in her system, even though her mom said she had a low tolerance for alcohol. And we seen her, really walking, unstable through the halls, which is why none of us could figure out how in the world did she walk into that freezer in a straight line. How did she find a freezer in the first place, right? So she had this drug in her system that was for seizures and stuff like that, and her mom said she didn't have a prescription for that. One thing that I always wondered, when we were watching a video of her walking through the halls and everything, why was there never any footage of outside the hotel room? Because if you can remember the story back then, her friends, Shamaya and Monifa, said that they were, she said she was ready to go home and they were ready to take her home. So they put her outside. They leaned her up against the wall in the hotel room. The hotel room number was 926. It was by the elevator doors. They put her upside the hotel room door, beside the hotel room door, and they went back inside to get her phone and her keys. And when they came back out, she was gone. So they should figure she had, gotten on the elevator, that way or something. She was gone. She was vanished when they came back. But my thing is, there are cameras all over the hotel. Why is it that we never saw any footage of Kenneka outside of that hotel room? I always wondered that. That was always funny to me in retrospect. Anyway, so the Jedidiah Brown is out there protesting. Andrew Holmes, another community activist, comes along and says that there was no foul play. People should go home. People weren't listening to that, right? So they finally got in touch with Kenneka Jenkins' mom. This is after she initially visited the hotel the next morning. Nobody really wanted to help her. The Rosemont Hotel didn't want to help her. Didn't want to let her see any videotape. The police department didn't really want to help her. When it came to her daughter, and so she went home. She was later contacted again by Andrew Holmes and company. She went to the hotel. They showed her. She said they showed her some video. She said that she was held in a room for several hours. And she was, while she was and made to say certain things. And while she was in that room, she was also shown some video of a child she didn't even recognize, right? And so my thing is, um, Andrew Holmes appeared to be a bit sketchy then, and I know he's a bit, we know for sure that he's a bit sketchy now. So I think this is when they asked Teresa Martin to tell Jedidiah Brown and the other protesters, to go home, right? One problem that I had, the only problem that I really think that at first Jedidiah, for whatever reason, really was trying to find, justice for Kenneka along with everybody else protesting. Andrew Holmes, I think, had ulterior motives. I don't know what exactly they told Teresa Martin, but she came out and asked the people to go home. And that really made Jedidiah feel some kind of way. Back then he really didn't have any information at all. But clearly, they had showed the tapes to Andrew Holmes. Andrew Holmes has always been suspect, and interestingly enough, um he got fired from his community activist organization in 2024 because he was charged with assaulting this woman in a at a conference in Las Vegas, and she made allegations, against him that he allegedly assaulted her in 2024. Right. So we always felt that he had some kind of payout. Jedediah, as well as a lot of people, felt that he had some kind of payout. But now, in retrospect, when Teresa Martin came out and asked everybody to go home, saying the protesting, wasn't going to do any good. The protest kind of died down for a while. Excuse me. And when the protest died down, I think it gave the hotel and whoever else was involved a minute to get their stories together, right? Because when Jedediah Brown and the protesters were after, they got there so fast that the police at one point in time, you guys may remember, they released a video, and come to find out, it was a reenactment of what they think happened to Kenneka, and everybody realized that there was a reenactment. Then they had time between then to I believe, and a lot of people believe, do whatever it was that they did to the video, right? So there was so much stuff going on that they had to release a video, right? And so, but because of the Teresa Martin and Andrew Holmes, asking the people to go home, that gave the hotel, like I said, and whoever else was involved, a moment to breathe and get their act together, right? So protesting still was going on. It went on for years. People trying to find out what happened to poor Kenneka. Her story, in my opinion, behind became an urban legend. You know, but in the light of what she's been saying now, she did say that she received the $6 million. She had to, the $3 million. She had she was made to sign an NDA. Basically, she was given hush money. Um, she said that she never received any of Kenneka belongings. In my opinion, I think that she is exposing herself as well. Somebody commented that she may have run out of the money. People were showing her and her daughter with the designer clothes and the designer bags and the cars and all of this and all of that is what she did with the blood money, and they're thinking she blew it all, and she's coming out now simply because she's run out of money. I don't know if that's true or not. That is all alleged. I think that now Jedidiah started in a good place, but because they locked him out, I really think that Jedidiah Brown is now clout chasing off of Teresa Martin. He has been on Facebook going back and forth, not only with Teresa Martin, but also um a lady by the name of Crowley. I can't think of her name. She's another activist. I think her name is Melissa Crowley or something like that. And this lady right here making the face, her and Jedediah are deeply into it. He is deeply upset with Teresa Martin. He says that people are calling his phone. like they did Zach TV, and telling him to leave the case alone. And he was saying, and he said somebody, broke into his email account and whatnot, and all of this and all of that. I don't think that's true. I think that he is clout chasing. I think that he is still bitter with Teresa Martin, because Teresa Martin, all these years later, she still won't fool with him. I think that he feels like they cut him out, of whatever it was that they were trying to gain or get, or whatever was going on. I think he feels like they cut him out as far as Jedidiah Brown goes, right? And so, anyway, at this point in time, he's trying to, in my opinion, clout chase. But as far as Teresa Martin, for a long time, I didn't think that Teresa Martin, really knew whatever happened to her daughter. I do believe that the money that the settlement that she got was blood money. I do also know that when it comes to Kenneka and getting justice from the grave, a lot of these people are going down. To this day, Monifa and Shamaya and Irene are arguing, are still online about what happened to Kenneka. And when it came to the case, I always felt like there was two things happening at one time, right? And the reason why I say that is because there were several allegations made as to what happened to Kenneka in that hotel room. Some people believe she was assaulted in the hotel room. I don't believe that she was assaulted in the hotel room, but I do believe it when they say Irene was allegedly paid to set her up. A lot of evidence came out, that would lead people, that sort of thing. As far as Zach TV goes, I think that Zach TV found out what really happened to Kenneka Jenkins. I think that's why he was silenced. He was warned, to leave it alone. But by that time, it was too late. We know that when it comes to Zach TV, they tried to make it appear that, it was a issue with gang violence. And those gang members that were paid allegedly, in my opinion, to shoot him, they were all exonerated. It was six of them, and they were all exonerated. They got this high power. They some kind of way were able to hire this high power lawyer, and they got away with the killing of Zach TV. So that was always suspect to me. But as far as Teresa Martin goes, I think she is losing her mind because she is guilty. I also think that she is out of money, allegedly, possibly, but moreover, um, I think that her conscience is weighing on her because she did take that payout. I think Jedidiah is upset because he was cut out the pot. I really do. I think even Andrew Holmes got his cut. There were several people that profited off of, in my opinion, Kenneka Jenkins unaliving, right? And especially her mom, right? Especially her mom, especially Andrew Holmes. And I always wondered, how in the world was it that they were able to get Reverend Al Sharpton to preside over Kenneka Jenkins' funeral? And I think that was because of Andrew Holmes. When it comes to Al Sharpton, in this case right here, I think that, in my opinion, I'm gonna say allegedly, but in my opinion, he was brought in as a mediator, right? So everybody now are talking about this again because of the post that Teresa Martin put up, in November. And here it is again. But and it really doesn't make any sense in my opinion. I don't think anybody's gonna take her to court. I don't think anybody was ever after Jedidiah Brown. This thing is over with as far as the police and the Rosemont Hotel. They paid her off and they're done. It doesn't matter what she says now, her Jedidiah Brown or anybody says now, they're simply done with it. Had they let Jedidiah Brown protest the way that he protests, in my opinion, at first, because he had his foot on their neck, I really do believe that. I think that the public wouldn't be so in the dark right now. Um, I think that like I said, there are two or three things going on at one time. We have to discuss that in a video. I don't want to make this video too long, but I just want to give you guys, my thoughts on, what is going on now. Like I said, I think that Teresa Martin, I think she may be, a little bit unhinged behind this, behind her daughter's murder, and behind the fact that she did take a payout. I do believe that she does know what happened to Kenneka, and I think that is, guilt and grief is a powerful thing, right? So I don't know, like exactly what's transpired over the years to get her in this state right here, but um I think that Kenneka is demanding justice from the grave. Like I said, Andrew Holmes is getting his. Jedidiah Brown, he all hooping and hollering all online. Ain't nobody really paying no attention to him. He really mad, not because he didn't find out what happened to Kenneka, in my opinion, but because he didn't get his part in the pot. That's what I feel, about that. So Teresa actually came out and she's done a couple of other videos on Facebook, and she said she still sounds erratic. She still sounds like she's crashing out. I don't know if she's high. I don't know if she's mentally ill. I don't know what exactly is going on, but something is going on with her. Um, but guilt will do that to you as well as grief. So I don't know if it's grief and guilt or just guilt, right? Because no amount of money in the world could have been enough, as it pertains to me finding justice for a child of mine. But uh, I mean, some people are saying that she shouldn't have took the money. Some people are saying that she should have took it. Um, Me personally, I just feel like it's blood money. That's on her. You know, for Zach TV, he got caught in the middle. Like I said, I think he is the only one that really knew what happened to Kenneka. I think that he actually got some video. If you guys can remember, his home was broken into prior to his death. He came home from somewhere and he found that his house had been broken into and all of his electronic equipment had been stolen. I think that's because somebody gave him the tape. Nobody was ever brought to justice when it comes to the unaliving of Kenneka Jenkins. But a lot of us remember the security guard that was spoken to by the police. They asked him to raise his arms up, and when he showed his arms, there were photographs online. I don't know if you guys remember that, of his arms, and they was all scratched up. That is the same security guard that went missing after he had the interview, but that is also the same security guard that was in the video that Layla Lynn showed. So this thing is all sparked up again. It jumped off again because of Teresa Martin. People have been talking about this for years. They're always going to talk about it because it is now an urban legend, in my opinion. Teresa Martin, Andrew Holmes, Jedidiah Brown, and whoever else was involved with that case. I think that Kenneka is wanting justice, not only from because of what happened to her, but also because of what happened surrounding all that blood money that people got, dealing with her. People were getting monies for Kenneka Jenkins that weren't even related to Teresa Martin. And Teresa Martin didn't receive any of it. They were getting it on their own recognizance, like Andrew Caldwell. Like I said, I do feel like the hotel brought in a facilitator, in my opinion, and that facilitator or they go between allegedly. In my opinion, though, it was Al Sharpton, and so that's all I got for now. I hope this. I knew I was kind of rambling a little bit, but I hope you guys got what it was that I'm saying. Um, for as long as Teresa keeps coming back on the internet, on Facebook, talking mess and talking crazy. I don't know why after all of these years, well, people have suspected. I just told you guys several reasons people think. But I don't understand the mentality behind her coming back and posting this information online after all of this time. I just don't understand it. It has to be for a reason. I hope she not thinking she gonna get more money out of the hotel. Jedidiah clout chaser, he still ain't gonna get nothing. He was cut out long ago. The only thing he can do is chase clout because he ain't getting no fundage. Andrew Holmes can't do anything anymore because he's been signed. He's been fired from his .org, like I said, for assault. Don't feel sorry for him at all. He was always kind of shady to me, and because it was so much going on, that I am not surprised that he took a bribe from the people. But once again, if anybody can answer this question for me down in the comment section, why do you think that there was no surveillance in the hall where Monifa and Shamaya said that they put her up against the wall outside of the hotel room? Why was there no video surveillance in that hall? To see if if she got in, on the elevator by herself or if she was assisted by someone. There's there's footage of everything else, but I've never seen any footage of her outside the hotel room door. Why is it that security is all over the building, but clearly not on that floor? You have to ask yourself that question, right? And why was it such a cover up as to the camera that was over top of the freezer? You have to ask yourself that as well. But anyway, that's all I got. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe the video. Um and hit the bell twice if you're a new member. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna talk to you guys later. Bye bye. Peace.